Thank you so much for being here today and joining me and joining this awesome community as I demo Omneky, the platform. This is actually my third time presenting at the AI User Conference. I presented at this event last year, then I presented at the bigger tentpole event, and then I think I'll be presenting again for the big event in Fort Mason. So really excited and really love this community. Quick background about Omneky. We're the first mover. So we generate ads, and we're a workflow tool that automates ad creation and optimization. We're the first mover in generative AI, founded back in 2018. We've been featured in CB Insights and various market maps. We were the first Gen AI company to pitch at TechCrunch Disrupt. We were recognized by Jensen Huang in his NVIDIA GTC conference. We've been recognized by Gartner as a leading innovator in AI-driven creative solutions, and we're backed by the leading AI investors like SoftBank and AIX Ventures, and at AIX Ventures, particularly by Richard Socher, who was early investors in Hugging Face and Perplexity. So very quickly, just explaining, I'm going to run through this really fast, but marketing is full of inefficiencies. 55% of marketing budgets are wasted every year on ineffective content. I'm sure you've seen ineffective ads through your day-to-day, and it's just a very hard problem. Lots of time is wasted with designers doing rote work, and then lots of money is wasted on ineffective, just poorly personalized creative. So our workflow tool, which I'm going to demo in a second, trains the model on the brand. We get real-time insights from performance data that we then generate, and there's a workflow tool for generating content and then approving and launching the content on the various ad channels. And really the direction we're going in terms of the vision is this agentic system where the AI is 24/7 working, automating, optimizing the campaigns on your behalf. And it's as closed loop of a system as we can get, where we're integrating data with as many data sources as possible. We're utilizing state-of-the-art models. We have our own mixture of experts models that get the insights and generate content and launch the campaigns on your behalf. And I think in 2025, really, this is going to be the year where this kind of agentic platform is possible. So what customers get from us is performance optimizations. They get to launch in more audiences and launch in more markets because the cost of creating content has gone down. They get to save time, and it's also a more secure system since a lot of the data is maintained on the platform. And so customers have seen great results from our tool. So with that, I'm just going to dive into the demo. First, I want to show the brand management. So this, the way this works is you upload your brand, you connect your brand URL. Our system will go and scrape the site. You can also upload your brand books, and then we'll extract the primary features of your brand, as well as, and this is very important, copy restrictions, image generation restrictions, image use and generation guidelines, ad copy. I think a lot of brands are concerned about AI misusing their brand and generating things that are not on brand and not being brand safe. And so brand safety is at the very core of our system to really make sure that nothing's ever being generated that violates your core brand principles. Then what we do is we go into insights, and so for here, this is actually our own ad platform, and you can actually see our top performing ad creative. Funny enough, is this a clip from my session at AI User Conference last year, and it does does a kind of quick breakdown of the creative, why I think it's performing well, suggestions for making it perform better, and you can really segment this data and rank it based on any kind of metric you want to. You can drill deep, so you can see, for example, ads that I can see, ads with 31 seconds, are performing better. Well, let's get out of those ads with 31 seconds plus, what are kind of the trending features of those ads, and you can kind of drill down and see. Okay, one second. And see insights and results. Perhaps ads with, for example, a female narrator has been correlated with driving higher impressions. So this is the insights tool. Based on the insights, what we then do is we generate creative briefs. And the way the creative briefs work is it's based on the brand information and based on the performance data. So I think oftentimes, marketer, when they're trying to come up with ideas for creating content, a lot of it is intuitive. Well, what we do is customers can input their project, kind of their description of the campaigns, their target audience, the unique selling proposition, as well as other kind of things like how creative do you want the AI to be, and it will generate suggestions for creative and for campaigns, particularly based on the data. So for example, it's suggesting for our ads we use this learn more call to action because it's driven more impressions, and that certain colors, background colors, also prove to be more effective, and then other things like, for us at least, the phrase time saver, is a core value prop that resonates with customers and gets them to sign up, and so. That based on that, then it generates copy, image suggestions, headline suggestions, and this becomes the blueprint for the next step, which is the AI-generated ads. So with that, also, by the way, if you're an agency, you can share this with customers and get customers' feedback on the creative brief before. So you're really collaborating at the ideation stage. So then with that, we can go into the ad creation itself and the ad generation. So there's many ways you can go about generating ads on our platform. First step perhaps is you just want to import a PSD file, and you can take a PSD file that you have historically created. Let's say you're a brand, you're very strict, you don't want an AI to generate content for you. You can upload the PSD file, we'll automatically read it and then turn it into variations. So here I just uploaded a PSD file. It's imported this PSD file. I can go and edit this. In various ways. We have a robust editing tool here. So let's use the font. And even within the editing tool, you can do things like you can upscale the image, for example. Let's say the image was highly pixelated when you uploaded it as a PSD file. And then you can, from here, you can turn the various elements you want to turn into multivariate tests into placeholders. So you turn this into a placeholder, maybe I want to turn this image into a placeholder, and you click create variations, and then the AI will go and actually turn each of these placeholders into variations. So this is one step, and I think oftentimes if you're a big brand, this is the step that most brands go forward with because they are happy with their designs. They just want to turn their scale, their one asset into scaled assets. So in this instance, our system is creating the variations, generating new copy for each variation here. There we go, and there we go. Yes. Okay. Well. Now, the other step that you can possibly go is just go with an AI-generated template. So these are templates that our AI has completely generated from scratch, and you can tell that it's AI-generated because you can say that well, we've generated the background image, we've generated the foreground, we've generated the copy, we've assembled the ads, and really completely AI-generated, from end to end. Based on the creative brief, based on the brand information, based on your brand assets. And here, again, you can go and edit this template however you like. You can, do various other features, like you can go in and maybe you want to create variations of this image. Maybe you want to go and expand this image so you can actually go and outpaint this image. You can outpaint obviously your own assets as well, and then turn this into multi variations as well. And so. What we're working on now when it comes to this tool and the auto generation of ads is making this available as an API for ad networks and platforms that are looking for quickly AI generated assets based on the brand assets. And we'll kind of give it a second to kind of outpaint. There we go. So you see now it just outpainted, and you can do various other editing features. You can remove the background. You can upscale it. You can turn this into variations. And then the other component here is personalizing the ads to various personas. So when it comes to automation and workflows and kind of large part of what kind of the manual work of the creative process is, okay, you created one hero asset, you created one big idea, but now you got to personalize that asset to different markets, different audiences within that market, and potentially in different languages. And so what our system does is it goes in and kind of inserts different persona assets into your templates to quickly personalize those assets, as well as generating new copy suggestions as well. And so the idea is, you can go in, you can just select, you can also go in and actually select your own, folders or images that you want to turn into persona assets. Here, for example, let's hope this is the right folder. And you can just go and say, I want to use these persona assets, and then it'll go in and kind of, insert those assets into the ads as well if that is something you want to do. And then also, I think video is a big component of this. So not only can you do image templates, but also you can do video templates. And so here, this is a video template that's AI generated. This asset here is AI generated. I'll actually walk in a second, show you in a second how this asset is AI generated. But here again, you can turn these headlines into placeholders. You can turn this video into a placeholder, and you can quickly turn those into variations. So. So you've seen now several workflows for kind of quickly scaling the assets depending on your brand guidelines, your what you're looking for, the degree of creativity that you're seeking. The other key component here is making sure that you upload all your brand assets, and you can always go and generate new assets. What we like to talk about oftentimes is we used to live in a world of digital asset management, where it was all about managing these assets in various folders. Well, I think we're entering the world, and I've kind of wrote a blog post on this. Is generative asset management. We live in a world now where it's all going to be about generating assets and managing those generative assets. And in that world, it's more about making sure that your brand is safe and your insights are strong, and you're properly managing the brand experience as it scales. And so you can quickly generate additional brand assets based on prompts. This is taking, we'll get a second to kind of generate. I'll also kind of go through another process of generating video assets in a second. So yeah, now you see we generate a video asset. Right, cool. And now you can use this in your variations as well. So the other key thing is when it comes to generating video assets is, well, maybe you don't have video, you don't have assets, you don't have image assets, you don't have any assets other than maybe images of your product. Well, what you can do with our tool, and this is actually available totally self-service, anyone can sign up and kind of start using this for free, is you can just upload 5-10 images of your product, and then you can generate videos with a prompt of that product. You can generate, and really again, any kind of prompt you can generate that video asset. Sorry, like this. And you can generate image assets as well. So, if you're limited in terms of the assets and you're quickly looking to scale your assets for creating the variations, you can use our tool, and you can do this for any kind of product photo. Let's see here. I think, the last step, this is more of a kind of more of like a operational thing. But after you've created all your variations, I think oftentimes you want to work with customers. And again, you can localize the ad to different languages, but oftentimes what you want to do once you've created your asset is you want to send it to the customer for approval so the customer can provide feedback, and you can actually comment, leave a note here for the customer. The customer, for example, can leave a note here and be like, change the copy. And again, it becomes more of a collaboration tool between you, especially if you're an agency, the relationship between you and the customer within one kind of workflow tool. If you're happy with the assets, and once the customers kind of approve the assets, what you can do is you can go in and actually just launch these assets straight onto the various platforms. So you can export, you can select the channel, and then you can click export, and then it's, it'll export to the various platforms. Yeah, so that's a quick demo of the various features. Any questions? That was.
Thank you so much, Omneky. It was eye-opening on how to generate AI assets. Do you guys have any question? Yes? All right. Can you stand up? Yeah. And then, yeah, for sure.
So have you looked into like if Facebook or other ad platform are like basically giving a higher CPM or like suppressing AI generated ads or something? Like, because I know they are suppressing a lot of AI content.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great question. So I think a lot of the suppression of AI content is predominantly for the kind of native content within the platform, the kind of the newsfeed content, the kind of user generated content. Oftentimes, as an advertiser, you're buying the media spot. You're kind of bidding for that media spot. So I'm not seeing that as much in terms of like you're not winning bids or the bid is you're losing bids because you're trying to show an AI-generated piece of content. But yeah, I mean, it is something we definitely looked into as well, seeing has it impacted we run our own AI-generated ads ourselves, and I don't think we've ever seen the advertisements necessarily being dinged because there was some AI in the workflow.
First, thank you so much. That was interesting. Second, you mentioned you have your own specific LLMs, like models. How do you trade them? How do you use them?
Yeah. We're a mixture of experts product. So what we do is we'll integrate the best models when it comes to, say, video generation or generating hyper-realistic product photos, or generating copy, and then really make sure that we kind of organize them and operate them properly so that it generates the assets. So we have models that kind of orchestrate the different models to kind of assemble, say, the completely auto-generated ads that I was demoing earlier. So it's really more of that. It's more of like a model router. Also, we work closely with customers. Some customers want to use certain models, some customers don't want to use certain models, and so we let customers also select which models. When it comes to the brand model, I think fine-tuning on the customer's brand is a big part of it, generating content that's aligned with the brand voice, kind of the personality, the way they use words. That's a big part of the fine-tuning process. There's also a fine-tuning process with the product photos, and fine-tuning models to generate hyper-realistic product photos. So those are kind of areas where we're fine-tuning these models, for each customer. And this is kind of done in an autonomous way. You sign up, upload your brand information, fine-tune them all on the brand. You upload your product photos, we'll fine-tune it on products.
Hi. This may be a little bit of a philosophical question, but do you think that do you think the fact that you can produce all of this content at cost equals zero kind of cheapens the kind of desirability of the target population to kind of find value in it? And speaking as a person who comes to meetups to meet people and stuff, and I think that, do you see that kind of thing? And then secondly, if it's all auto-generated, is this the beginning of the simulation reality that we're all supposedly going to be in or already in? Do you have any thoughts on that in any way?
So regarding does it cheapen the content or cheapen the creative process? A lot of the work that we're automating is work that creators and designers don't really like doing anyway, which is creating banner ads in different dimensions, different variations. It's like just not very creative work. And so, what? Production. Yeah, well, right, production, exactly. So it's like the fact that AI will go and resize the ads for in various dimensions is a useful feature. The fact that will insert different product SKUs into your into the templates you've already designed is a useful feature. I think the importance of the big idea. What is the story that your product is about? Your customer that you're solving that problem for. That is still important. It's really more about scaling that asset to various demographics and audiences and And then also, using data to keep track of how that message is resonating, and then optimizing that message. That's really where our tool comes in. So it's really more about scaling that creative asset and kind of imbuing more data. I think also into that case, I think it's really hard to scale without data, or else you're just kind of scaling kind of in a random direction in a very uncontrolled way. So data is to help with the scaling process, but there's still an incredible importance in the big idea, the big story that you're trying to resonate with about your product to your customers. Regarding if we're living in the kind of the rate in which things are getting, I mean, I think we already live in many ways in kind of a simulation of sorts, right? I mean, your news feed, everything, your digital diet, predominantly, it's kind of like an N of one in many ways already, and already being personalized for you, and already being kind of created for you, and we spend a lot of time online, and so I think it's just more of a trend. Is spending more time in a more personalized. I once joked to a friend that like the arc of technology is putting more screens between you and your connections to have real estate for ads. Is kind of like in some ways, like, the more you virtualize, the more real estate you have for advertisers, perhaps because there's a kind of a commercial kind of incentive there, but ultimately I think. If you can, and this is really the mission of the company, is to democratize growth and empower businesses, and small business in particular, is if you can lower the cost of advertising, you can help more businesses get to market, be a viable business. You can help create a more vibrant economy with more vibrant and cool tools and cool products that historically couldn't get to market because the barrier to entry was too high. And so I think that's generally a richer world. And with more entrepreneurs, and I think that's probably the direction we're going. I think economically is we're going to have a world with more entrepreneurs, trying new things, and like bringing new products to market, and I think that's very exciting.
This question's the end-to-end workflow. Like as you're scaling up the creation of all the graphics, how do you then place the ads at such a high volume and collect all that data? If you could walk us through the current techniques that you use to get that kind of ad volume placed in Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn, or any of the other online venues, and then what do you see the future of that's going to look like? How is that changing?
Yeah. Well, there's definitely an incentive to producing and launching more varied content. I mean, ad fatigue is a real problem. I think we've all experienced seeing the same ad for the 20th time, and that, just turning you off from the brand. So the platforms are hungry for content. They want more content. They want more content from advertisers too. And actually, generally, what we've seen is that the more you're almost like brute forcing performance from these social platforms is generally the broader your portfolio of content that the social platforms can pick from. Generally they can then switch around the ordering of that content, based on how many times that consumer has seen your brand. That has generally increased return on ad spend. So the reason why the vast majority of our customers see an improvement in return on ad spend or increase in sales is because generally more varied content, more engaging videos, more engaging images, communicating different value props, testimonial ad, demo ad, different value props, generally increases the performance of that campaign. So the platforms are hungry. So if you just some of these platforms, if you just feed it more content, it will perform better. And then you're using data to kind of figure out, how do I create the next batch of content? And then, when it comes to more of these other platforms outside of the walled gardens, there's more ability to do finer targeting, and so that becomes another good lever for optimization and kind of delivery. Yeah, so we have all these platforms have API integrations. Their ad networks have API integrations. And so you just integrate with their APIs, and then you can launch, and then through the API you can launch content. Not anybody can build an API, integrate with their API, because you need to be an accredited investor and, accredited advertiser. And so, there is a process where you kind of need to go through to get API access to these ad networks. But once you've gone through it, then you do get API access and you can launch ads. for some platforms. Other platforms, there is like a minimum budget you need to have like a seat with a budget to run ads on. So for example, like Trade Desk, for example, you need to be spending a substantial amount every month to be able to run ads on their platform. So there's a budget kind of barrier to launching ads, and then there's kind of just like a diligence barrier. But if you can pass those barriers, then you do get access to the API.
Cool. Thank you so much. Please, guys, give Hikari a very warm round of applause for the presentation. Thank you.